Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and welcome to The Fool's Apprentice. Today, we are doing our Tarot One card study, and I have Tara here today. Hi, Tara. How are you doing?
Hi. Pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm really glad that you came here. I'm so grateful for everybody that's been coming on doing this project of mine. I'm super excited. It's been wonderful meeting all these people.
I cannot wait to see the final. I can't believe that you've taken this. I can. I feel like you're a very like like you do a lot of like theme stuff. So like I could see you taking this on, but I to me it seems daunting, but I'm glad you're doing it.
Well, I'm taking it in pieces. So I'm doing chunks of interviews and then posting them out a couple of months ahead of time. So those are done. So it doesn't feel so overwhelming. It's just the challenge has been getting everybody the time schedule. I've already messed up with time with people. And so it's really about being more diligent about making sure I got my time right. So, Tara, tell us about yourself, any social media you have, where you're from, how long you've been doing tarot.
Yeah. Well, I think I've been doing tarot. I feel like every time I answer this, I'd probably give a different answer. But I think I've been doing it since like 2016-ish, maybe.
Oh, much longer than ever. Wow.
Yeah, I kind of mark it from like where I lived at the time. So I was like, it could be anywhere from like 2013 to 2020,
Yeah.
really. Um, but yeah, in and around that time. And I'm on YouTube doing like pretty exclusively tarot content. I always kind of like am wishy-washy with that because I feel like there's tons of other things I would love to eventually
What's your
have
tarot?
on
What's your tarot channel name?
Cozy Core. But my like at thing is Tara is Cozy, which I know is like annoying. And then I'm on Instagram quite a bit at Tara's Cozy. I have a X account, which I don't really post on that often, but I want to eventually. I feel like there's tarot content missing from there, or maybe I just like don't come across it or something like that. But
Okay. Where are
well,
you
there
from?
as well. I'm from Canada, Ontario, Canada. I'm up by the lakes, and
So
yeah,
right now it's 8:11 for me. It's 9:11 for you.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna sneeze, so we'll see how this goes. It's okay. So we are doing the Emperor today. Well,
Love.
I'm using a Neo Writer. People are gonna be sick and tired of me saying that. Which one do you have?
I have I think it's like the mini pocket version. I don't have the
Oh,
box anymore, but I think it's the probably same as the yellow box one.
I see your keyword.
That's a tarot with training wheels, Lisa Pepez.
Yes, yes, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but I ended up using the deck that she suggests. I forget the name of it right off the bat, but yeah, very cool. So tell me, what does the Emperor signify mean for you, like generally in a reading, blah blah blah.
Um, I would say like um, masculinity mostly,
Mm,
um, and then a lot of things associated with that typically. So um, control, hence the keyword, um, order, um, protection, things like that. Yeah.
okay. Um, for me, it's really about authority,
Yeah.
someone who's in charge, discipline. Um, and I just don't see it as. I also see it as somebody who uses their mind instead of their heart. They're very intellectualized in the way they think. Their thinking can be very black and white
Yeah.
in the way they do things. Um, Somebody who's stable. Generally, if I look at the archetype and I actually look at like an emperor in a kingdom, it's actually somebody who has worked very hard, has been very disciplined, has a strong work ethic, um, can be very. I hate to. I don't know if this is the right way to think about it, but kind of cutthroat. Because how do you become a king if you're not, a strong character? If you don't make really strong decisions and don't allow your feelings to get in the way. So I
Yeah.
think the emperor kind of represents that fatherly figure.
Yeah.
Um, but also somebody who, in the upright meaning, somebody who's very respected, somebody that you would go to for advice or guidance.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he comes up in a reading, what does he kind of mean for you?
Um, I can't help but like usually try to connect it to a person, but I think I do that with a lot of cards, whether it's like court cards or majors that are like human archetypes or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you said authority, that is one that does often come up for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I first came into the tarot community, a lot of like the conversation that I heard around like a lot of people's reaction to the emperor was like very like, push
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I think that it's all of those things, like even control, like that word control, like I think like there's like sometimes a negative connotation with it, but like you need it, we need it as a society and stuff like that. So like you said, sometimes it's like that person who stands in their beliefs in what it's right is right, even if they think that it's hard to do, they're going to be the one to do it for the
Yeah.
greater.
So when I think of people, I think people like a judge, a president,
Yeah.
an emperor of another country, a king. Um, but
Sovereign, like you said,
when I think of a person, the one person I think of, because it's an example, it's comes from the Bible of all things. I'm not a big
yeah,
Bible person, but it's a story that stands out. Is King Solomon? Are you familiar with King
yeah,
Solomon?
yep,
So the two women that come with the baby.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has to make the decision, and he's like,
Cut the baby in half and give the mothers each their own. And so the real mom, and he knew the real mom would say no, she can
yeah,
keep the baby. That kind of wisdom, and
yeah,
I think that's what I think the emperor is somebody who's very calculating, very super smart, is able to
yeah.
find out the truth no matter what. So that's how I see him. I
I never thought of him that way, but I love that. I'm going to keep that with me because I love that story.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's awesome. That's a really beautiful, because it balances that the softness and that like he truly cares and wants to find out, but his way of doing it seems harsh. Like even the small synopsis we gave, if people don't know the story, they're probably like, what the hell? But,
yeah, and actually I love the story because the mother ends up with the baby at the
yeah,
end. Justice is served,
yeah,
and then the
definitely.
other mother is punished, rightly so. Also, like when I think of the emperor, because he's so structured, if you look at like society as a whole, it's like the law of the land.
Yeah,
You know, in businesses there are structures. In
yeah,
families there's a structure. So he's a family he's the dad.
yeah,
I don't remember where I heard it, but what I really like is that the emperor is genderless. So, because there are moms that have to play the father figures within the home and or
definitely.
have to be the authority figure in a business and so forth and so on. So, it's really anybody. It just doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a man who's in charge.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the symbols, do you do you use the symbols at all within the emperor?
Um, Not really, but I was actually this morning before we jumped on, I was like, I was just quickly reading through like this book, which is like the first tarot book that I ever
Never,
got.
I've never seen that one. Okay.
And I literally bought it because the title is the only tarot book you'll ever need. It's a lie. It's not. it it goes into the symbols like very lightly, but like kind of like the fact that there's like the ram's heads,
Hmm.
and I never knew that his staff was an ankh, like an Egyptian ankh.
Yes, yes.
Um, and the fact that he's wearing armor under the robe. And they even touched kind of on the fact that he's like kind of like in a relaxed position, which I mean I think the rams is a symbol that I probably did catch on to because I feel like that repeats itself in a lot of decks.
Yeah.
But some of the other like kind of finer details of it, I never really pay that much attention to. So yeah,
Yeah. So like this is my this is one reason I'm really liking this series because it's really forcing me to like really dive deep into the cards. So what I've learned about the Ankh, that's the Egyptian symbol of eternal life. And it is supposed to it represents protection, and power and the ability to bring the dead back to life. And so when I look at that now, I see it as the ultimate power that the emperor has, because basically when you stand in front of him, he holds your life in his hands.
Yeah.
And so he can decide if you live or you die. That's how much power he has. So that that's what it represents now for me, is how much power that he really does hold. It's like eternal power.
Yeah.
And then things that I've learned, like with the beard, represents his wisdom and his knowledge,
Yeah.
because he's an older man.
Yeah.
The armor kind of represents, from what I'm reading, and then what it means for me is, for me personally, it means that he's always at the ready. He's always ready to get into battle. He's not afraid to make the hard decisions, and he's always protected. And the thing with that, the other side of that, is that he doesn't seem to be able to anytime kind of like rest. Because if you have to leave your bedroom and put your armor on, when do you get to like rest and not
Yeah.
worry about your back, you know? So, and then the crown, of course, represents who he is. Now, I haven't gotten into astrology, so all I know about the ram is that it's Aries and Mercury. That's all I know. What all that means, I don't have a clue.
I think, I mean, I don't know a ton about astrology either, but I have some Aries in my life and they're pretty fiery people. And I think that that's like the sentiment. And I think there's an element of like aggression to that, which I like associating with someone like the
Yes,
emperor.
I can actually, yes, I would agree. Because he has to be ready. Unlike, he's going to cut people off, he's going to kill people, he's going to go into battle at any time, which means, he's going to have to kill people,
Yeah.
murder people. So,
And that's a heavy like cross to bear, to have that responsibility.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, do you use reversals at all?
No, not unless like it's a deck that I reference the guidebook and the guidebook has reversals. But other than that, I don't typically use reversals.
Okay, so if it comes in a reading for you and do you have reversal like definitions for him? Like if the cards next to him, let's say, were death and the seven of swords, like would there be a negative connotation to the emperor in that regard for you?
Yeah, I think there's always like opportunity for there to be a negative connotation. I think I just personally push back against it because I always hear people like talk negatively about him, and I'm like, but there's good things about him too. But
Yeah, I know. I actually do see the good more than that. I didn't have an issue with him. I actually don't
yeah,
think I had an issue with any other cards. I think the Hierophant is another one that people really struggle with.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I don't read reversals, but I do read. Mine are more like, I had a question about, am I too optimistic and my readings are skewed that way? But I do get a lot of cards that are like, you need to be careful because this could turn into you becoming very domineering. This could
exactly.
be you imposing your will on somebody else or abusing your
Yeah,
power at work. So you have to be careful, or you need to be mindful that, this new person that you're dating doesn't come across as domineering or someone who's going to take
yeah,
over your will. So in that regards, I kind of read them that way.
yeah. I think it's more like what within the context of the reading that
Hmm.
I can lean more to like the shadow side of it. So, like for me, like the shadow side of like someone with a lot of power is like a tyrant kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the light side of it would be like a leader who like is like genuine in his intention and has a good heart and leads by example and all that kind of stuff. So like of course there's like good and bad to it. But I would say like, yeah, when you were asking about reversals, it's not necessarily like is it reversed or not. It's just like what makes sense within the context of the reading, I
Yeah,
think.
I'm the same way. I read the energy of the spread. I really listen to my intuition. I think I have
Yes.
good intuition. I think my intuition has kept me alive in my crazy life and my poor decisions when I was younger. I've always listened to my intuition. That's the one thing I've never been hesitant in using. So you have a favorite card, a favorite emperor card?
I do, yeah. And it was funny because I didn't like when you asked me, I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
And so last night I was like literally going through all my decks and I knew what I wanted to see in an Emperor card. And I was really surprised how often I didn't find it.
Oh,
But the one that no, I did find it though. But I was just surprised how long it took me. But the one that I landed on is actually Danny's Emperor from the
oh.
Spin
What is it
Masters.
about that one that had everything you wanted?
I liked that he had like a strength and kind of like he's a warrior, like he looks like a warrior.
Mm,
But there's also a I don't want to say softness, like a control. Like he feels like he's in control of himself and all of those like we were saying, like potential like aggression or anything like that. He's in control of it. The only thing that made me second guess picking him is he seems a little bit young, and I feel like I usually think of him as an older man. But I still, and I think too, just like this is one of the things that I love about this deck is the color that
uh,
she selected, and just that like red, just really
yeah, red's, I mean,
embodies it for me.
yeah, and that's the thing. You can bring in color in a reading, passion,
Yeah,
sacrifice, all that kind of stuff with the color red.
yeah.
Now,
So,
you did mention that you have a Thoth card. So let's go there. We're gonna cheat a little bit.
the emperor would not approve of this. Yeah, I when I was yeah, I told Benny like I was having a hard time choosing, and I thought like the Thoth was not really super cheating, but I really love the Thoth for the same reasons that I loved Annie's Emperor. Just like first of all, the color. I feel like in Thoth, color is such a huge thing,
Mm.
but I just really like that balance between. I mean, this guy's definitely more relaxed than the one in Mystic Masters, but um,
What is it about
he
that card that you like?
I think it's like the like quiet confidence that I feel like he
Oh,
has.
okay.
And yeah, he just I like this archetype because people like this that have that strength and that stability, like they it's a gift to everybody around them because those people can relax a little in their presence. And that's what like this guy feels like to me.
Okay. And I have this idea that people don't relax around the emperor, that people are on their toes because
Yeah. Yeah, which is I guess it depends what kind of emperor you have, but yeah.
I ended up picking the Heartscape Tarot.
Okay.
This Emperor card, I'm gonna put my glasses on. I love this Emperor card. This Emperor card is literally my favorite one.
Oh,
Have you seen it?
no, I've seen that deck, but I haven't seen that card. That's
I
beautiful.
love because you get this sense of how much responsibility he actually has. Like he has the weight of his kingdom on him.
Yeah,
And I also love the fact that he's standing there confident, looking at his land, knowing that it's his. And
yeah,
he's like in full bloom with his robe and his big staff. And I just, it just gives me this sense of what he holds in his hands, which is the
yeah,
life of his people. He is responsible to ensure that his kingdom is prospering, that his people are fed, that he's in charge of the laws that happen in his land, that every decision he makes ripples down to the poorest person in the most isolated place in his kingdom. So it just really opens my eyes to everything that he probably has to think about, which it's a lot. It's a lot.
yeah. And you know what struck me about that card when you showed it is like he's so alone. Like he's
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He's the only one that makes the decisions, really. He might take his court and listen to what he says, but basically he has to live and die by the decisions he makes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. This deck is amazing. Deck's
It's
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah.
Do you have it?
No, I've debated it a few times because it's so beautiful.
It's worth it. Now, people are selling it for crazy amounts, but Tavada, I think it is, they they reprint it, but it's like you have to be patient. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
$300 for it. Just be patient. It'll come back out. That's what I did. I just waited, and there
Yeah.
it was before I knew it.
Nice. I it was funny when I started looking last night. The first one I went to was the Sabbath Tarot, the one that you and I
Ah,
had talked about.
yeah.
I do love it, but it I
Now,
couldn't show it. No.
well, Tara, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Benny. I
Yeah,
love
without people like you, this would not happen.
so I'm here.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. My name is Benny, and I am the Fool's Apprentice. Bye, guys.
Bye.